Here we are once again, evening, and welcome to Gaming Under the Influence. I'm Mike, and I'm once more not here with Alex. He's in his basement, and I think
Hello.
I'm in mine.
Nice.
Coming to you live from Woodbridge, Ontario. I guess not from Green Dragon, except in spirit, where you
Definitely.
can't come and buy shit as of now, but we will deliver if you live in Vaughan, beer and video games to your front door. So give us a fucking call if there's anything like that you need. In the meantime, you can visit our website for articles on video game culture and philosophy and our weekly Gaming Under the Influence podcast, where we talk to you about fucking video games. But
Usually weekly.
yeah, usually weekly. We've been slacking a bit, eh?
That's okay.
I wonder if anybody noticed.
Probably not.
Probably not. Yeah,
It's all good. We're
that's
here.
all right. I'm here for you anyways. Yeah, I'm currently enjoying this fucking coffee that I showed you a picture of right there. It's like coffee in a can. Tastes pretty good.
Yeah, it looks pretty
From a
sweet.
place in the city, small fucking company run by three dudes who seem pretty, pretty friendly gentlemen.
Nice.
And I'm currently going to move on to new line of beer I just got in from Half Hours on Earth. Buddies up in Seaforth. They've been making a lot of beer with milk sugar, with lactose sugar for the past year, and I'm not like super crazy about it. So when they make just a normal dry hopped sour without any of that shit, I'm pretty excited. Yeah,
Nice.
they made like a Brettanomyces or Brettanomyces. I don't, I'm not fucking a science bitch. I'm sorry,
Yeah.
but yeah, it's a Brett fermented dry hop sour, and it's got that like funky, like weird, like maybe fruit skin vibe you might expect from Brett beers, and it's not as sour as their other dry hop sours, but it's very very drinkable, and it's 7.3% alcohol. So,
Holy cow.
and it's called Solar Evolution, which is a sick fucking name.
That is a cool name. Holy shit.
Yeah, it's killer. And then right after that, I'm gonna move on to this one called Celestial Terrestrial Commuter, which is a dry hop sour from the same fellas, except this one was strawberry and vanilla, which is excellent too. I tried one yesterday. Very cool shit.
Nice.
Yeah, man. You what kind of weed you smoking there? You know the name of it?
Um MK Ultra.
Yeah. Potent
Nice.
strain. I think
Nice.
it's a hybrid if I'm not mistaken, right?
Yeah,
Indica dominant hybrid.
I'm pretty sure it's a hybrid from
Yeah.
Bud Mail.
It's good shit, man. Very
Pretty
good
nice
shit.
stuff. Yeah, nice and cool, chill. I feel feeling light.
Very good, man. So why don't we start by me asking you what you've been playing the past couple of weeks, man? Locked at home or not, as it happens to be.
I have been pretty locked down on Red Dead 2. I don't think we've been talking about it from the last episode like a month
No,
ago,
I
I
don't
think,
think we
but
started it a month ago when we did the
yeah.
episode, actually. Yeah.
So since then I picked up Red Dead 2 on the PC and I have been just fucking going balls deep in there, which is funny
Really, man, that's
because
sick.
I had to restart the game because I had originally played it on the Xbox One
Yeah.
and I made it pretty far too. I think I made it to Saint Denis.
Oh yeah, shit.
So
That
yeah, it
that
was
is
like I did a pretty decent chunk, and then I just dropped it because I don't know, I got like bored of it or whatever. But playing on the PC is sweet. Like I enjoy sitting up with the mouse and keyboard. The controls feel great. Riding a horse doesn't feel like shit with the keyboard, believe it or not. So that's been fun. I'm actually surprised at how it controls very well. Like in terms of the riding horses and stuff, it feels not like shit. Like it's pretty intuitive using a keyboard.
yeah,
It doesn't really feel as garbage as I thought it would. And then obviously shooting and stuff like that feels great, mouse and keyboard. There's
that's
like
sick.
an insane wealth of graphics options that stuff like just tickles me. Like I like fucking seeing how high I can push graphics and then maintaining like 60 FPS or whatever. And you get like
Honestly, that's what
wild variations. It's
what you'd expect from a PC game in fucking
Yeah,
2020, anyways. Hopefully,
honestly, it's well ported. Like they did a fantastic job. I think anyway, it runs well on my system. I have a pretty beefy graphics card though, so I'm playing at 1440p with everything on like high and medium,
mm-hmm.
some things on ultra, and I'm getting a pretty steady like 60 FPS, sometimes up to 70, and it feels good. Everything's great. So I've been like really immersed in the open world because it plays well and nice and comfortable. I prefer like playing sitting up at a desk. I'm weird like
Yeah,
that. Maybe
honestly,
that's why I like PC so much, but like I don't always like the like lounging on the couch thing, right? So
yeah,
like I
honestly, dude, I play like on a small TV on a tabletop now with
yeah,
my PS4.
I feel like it's so much like I get so into it, right? I don't know.
Feels like you can see more
Yeah.
details.
Yeah. So that's been
Yeah,
that's been wicked, and I haven't really indulged in too many open world games recently, but this one's like feels very worth it. It's substantial, right? Like, and it's even to the fact that I was gonna say the beginning. If anyone's played Red Dead 2, the beginning is like a grind and a half. Like,
It is
oh
tedious,
man,
I
the
must say.
first couple hours are a little bit like, holy fuck. You start,
Yeah, they're a bit much, aren't they? Fuck.
yeah. You don't get like a horse brush until what, like 5 hours in. Like you slowly unlocks like the
Mhm.
like all the stuff in the world, and like fast travel. It just like slowly feeds this shit to you. But
I think like there's a level of impenetrability to this game
there kind
that
of is.
kind of results from the fact that it's
A
a
s-
good fucking piece of art, man. Like it's so devoted to its own fucking concept that it's not willing to make concessions for the sake of accessibility or convenience, right? Which is a pain in the ass. Don't get me wrong. Like I haven't
Mhm.
finished it for that reason, but also you
It's-
can respect it and consider it beautiful for the very same reason, right? Like
yeah, it's part of the beauty, right? It just feels so good. Oh my god. Like,
it's a well-realized world such that
yeah.
its laws hold true even when they start to irk you. You know what I mean? It doesn't make
Yeah.
concessions just
Cleaning your
because, oh fuck.
cleaning your
Yeah.
guns and your horse. It's like, what the
Yeah.
fuck?
Yeah.
Why?
Yeah.
But it's all good. It's just a great game, man.
Why? I don't know why either. Yeah, I don't know, but I guess only for the sake of creating that fucking,
Yeah. But yeah,
adding
it doesn't
texture to the world.
yeah, it doesn't bother me too much. Like I feel like part of me would have never wanted to start a new game because it's like, holy fuck, just to get through that, right? That opening, but I did it and I've been loving it, so
Good,
been
man.
good.
That's sick. Yeah. I was compelled to jump back into it recently too.
Yeah.
And I'm in Saint Denis now and I'm enjoying it too, man. The writing is fucking sick.
Right? I think
Yeah.
I'm at a really cool part right before Saint Denis when you're sort of playing the Braithwaites and the Greys. You're kind of like,
Yeah, that's a sick part.
yeah,
Sick part.
that part I feel like it's really well written, and oh, it's such a good moment in the game.
The last mission in that segment is fucking intense. I really like the well, it seems too that they've patched in a couple of things. Now you can fast travel from camp. Since I started the game in 2018, I don't think that was
I think I don't know if they patched it in, but it's part of one of the things you have to buy at the Ledger. When you upgrade
is it?
Arthur's camp, then you get the map.
I know
So
you can fast travel from his camp ever
yeah.
since launch, but now like when you camp like just in the
Oh,
wilderness, you can fast travel to towns or back to camp, I believe.
okay. I
Just
figured
something
that
I
out
noticed.
on this playthrough on the PC, so I don't remember if that
Hmm.
was ever in on the like at
I,
launch, but
I don't believe it was. I think that's
yeah,
added in, which is nice because
that
it
is
does make
nice.
sense anyways,
Yeah,
right?
yeah,
Like
it helps a lot.
yeah, I do like that feature. I don't find that to break the logic of the world or any kind of thing like
No,
that. You know, it's time passes and stuff like that too. So,
yeah,
yeah, it's a pretty nice little thing. Um,
yeah.
a nice feature though about that game is that you know, in spite of what other people have called like the fucking blatant ludo narrative dissonance there, like which like we've said before, I don't even really agree even exists.
Yeah.
I think there's some truth to the fact that in Red Dead there's kind of like this, you know, overt discrepancy between like the narrative component and the like the exploration and stuff like that other games are lacking. Like when you look at Far Cry 5, which is an example I use often, or even Maneater, which I'm going to talk about soon, like
Yeah.
progression is like tantamount to exploring the map, you know, like unlocking shit in the world is what you do to progress. It's not like you unlock shit in the world and then go back to the main game and then go back to the world, so that it feels almost like two separate experiences, right? Like
Yeah, yeah. It all feels very
yeah,
natural. You're right.
yeah, a lot of people credit Ubisoft with coming up with that formula, and perhaps they did, you know, but I definitely enjoy it, right? Like it's something they
Maybe.
implemented in Far Cry 5 and Primal and in Ghost Recon Wildlands, and it's something you find in Maneater. It's like this, you just go to a new area of the map, and like that area, like conquering it is kind of your goal, and you have to just fucking
Yeah,
complete some activities to, you know,
Ubisoft definitely had a heavy hand in
yeah,
like contributing to that sort of like
yep,
template of open world games. That's why they
for
used to
sure,
have,
yeah.
people call them the Ubisoft template, I think, right?
Yeah, the Ubisoft Utopia or
But
something like
yeah.
that. Yeah, Mafia 3 was like this too. I like that style of progression. Like Death Stranding is obviously like this too, you know,
Oh
so
yeah.
yeah. Where like the open world is the progression, not like some fucking tangential element that distracts you for 15 hours at a time. Fucking
Yeah.
can be too much sometimes. Yeah. That's a cool thing. But yeah, like
Nice.
Red Dead is really nice. And
Great
I
game.
really like how you can like start playing a mission and it feels almost like a little movie experience, you know,
Hmm.
by the time you get to the end, right? And usually it's about as long, fucking
Yeah,
an hour or
sometimes.
so, right? Yeah. which is really cool. I wonder how long the script was for that game, like how many words.
Fuck. Dude, there's a lot because like even just stuff like when you're walking around camp, you hear conversations between different people like every time, and a lot of times it's like new dialogue you haven't heard, right?
Mhm.
There must have been a ton of. I always think of like how much like of the voice acting, like how many lines
Mhm.
they had to record, which is essentially the same thing, right? But
Yeah, for real.
it's a lot of
Must
work.
have been
It's
a
a
shit ton.
big fucking game.
Yeah, it's a lot.
Yeah, great fucking
Another open
game.
world game that exhibits that progression style I was just discussing is Breath of the Wild. My wife's playing it right now, actually behind me.
Same.
Leanna's playing it too.
Yeah, she's been hammering away at it lately.
Look at that, eh?
Oh fuck. She's done I think she's down 90 shrines now. Yeah.
90 shrines? Are
90
you fucking
shrines. 2 out of 4 dungeons. She's like hammering at it, man.
that's
Oh,
staggering, buddy. That's
yeah.
staggering. Yeah. That's open world games for you that
Surprised,
way.
man. I didn't think she'd like it, but fuck. I think it's a great game, so I'm not surprised that she does.
Yeah. Good, man. That's fucking sick. Yeah, I'd like to say a couple of words though, since we're already on the subject of open world games about Maneater, which
Yeah.
I finished in a couple of days, and it definitely exhibits this progression structure that I was describing. I guess like more specifically than merely being open world, it's like open world like centric progression whereby you like progress by unlocking the map and stuff like that, and that's kind of what this is over here.
Kind of like the
Um,
Ubisoft template thing.
yeah, exactly like Far Cry 5. Like you
Right.
start in an area,
Or
there's
like
like a
Assassin's
percentage
Creed.
completion meter. Yeah, that's right. And like the whole goal is to either fucking complete enough, like disrupt the ecosystem enough to tease out like the apex predator to fight, and to fucking just piss off people enough so they send hunters at you
That's
to
exactly
fight.
like
You know?
5, isn't it?
Yeah,
Far Cry
exactly
5.
like 5. Yeah. So it's a simple premise, organic progression proper to a video game.
Yeah.
Very loosely has a narrative, but like fucking, it's not even remotely necessary here in that sense, right? It has a
Mhm.
story proper to a video game, quite like Souls, if you ask me. And man, I gotta say, I fucking love that game. Like I obsessed about it for a few days, and I like smashed it, in a
Yeah,
few sittings. It was
I noticed. I'm actually pleasantly surprised that you like it 'cause, now I kind of want to jump into it.
yeah, it's so sick. The combat, the fucking world building, believe it or not, like just the experience of playing the map, everything about it, I found like fucking totally badass. The way they take like sea creatures and turn them into these sick like bosses with like stylized introductions and like patterns that you have to learn when you're beating them and shit.
That's sick.
It's pretty fantastic. Yeah, the combat is sick. It's like a weird amalgam of like a fucking plane fighting game and like a Dark Souls or something like that.
That's
There's like
fucking
pattern
awesome.
recognition, but you have to like constantly circle your opponents so as to keep them like within your field of vision, right? It's like Monster Hunter. There's no lock on.
Right, right, right. Oh, no
Yeah.
lock on, eh?
No lock on, yeah. So
Hmm.
targeting is the combat essentially. You have to constantly like fucking keep the guy in your field of view so that you can like wait till he exhausts himself, and then he kind of flashes when he's vulnerable and you throw attacks at him at that
Nice.
point. Yeah. And there's like different builds you can take. There's like 3 main builds, each for satisfying a specific purpose in the world. Like one is for moving faster and completing like doing things more stealthily and like poisoning
Hmm.
people. One is like heavy and allows you to take more damage, and one allows you to shock people. And it's all just so cool, man. It's badass.
So hold on, you got the platinum trophy, but there's
Yes.
3 different builds. Like, did you have to choose one, or can you sort of cycle
You
between
can
them?
unlock them all, yeah, and put
Oh,
them on
okay.
at your choosing, yeah, from your invent.
Okay.
You go to like you have like a base in each region called a grotto,
Hmm.
like an underground like lair kind of that like the Cyril Figgis documentary is like filming you in. There's like a camera in it and shit.
That's hilarious.
Yeah, it's really funny. It's really funny. And like the story, such as it is framed in terms of this like nature show, kind of like Deadliest Catch, that follows this fucking hunter
Oh,
who
really?
kills your mother. Yeah, in the prologue, he kills your mom and like throws you back into the ocean. So you're like trying to kill him the whole game, right?
Yeah, yeah.
And yeah, he like kind of goes crazy, and his son is eaten by you.
Oh, fuck.
And yeah, you eat one of his legs, and like you burn his face. So by the end, he's like just this like totally like nutso guy, and he's like packing boats full of dynamite to come and fuck you up. Yeah, it's nuts. It's it's a great game, man. I really
It
liked it.
sounds
Yeah.
pretty hilarious, man. Even just the
Yeah,
fact that Cyril over there is the narrator.
yeah, dude.
I like that.
And like I keep seeing reviews that are like, yeah, well, it's like really stupid, but like X, Y, or Z. It's like, why exactly is it stupid? Can somebody explain to me what's stupid about it?
Yeah.
Because it's not all art house, like fucking about toxic masculinity or fucking transgenderism or some shit. Like, what's stupid about it? No,
I
it's a
haven't.
perfectly logical thing, right? Like, I really like the world building because it takes just fucking pieces of the natural world and uses them as instruments and like fucking
Hmm.
painting this really cool stylized picture, right? Like, it's
Yeah, it's sick. It
Yeah,
feels like, from what I've seen, like a game we would have seen a long time ago. Like an older
yeah, it
style
definitely is.
game,
It
right?
definitely is. I think like we talked about before, we're in the midst of this like fucking double A resurgence slightly,
Yeah,
you know?
I was just gonna bring that up. I think
Yeah,
it'd be nice to see these types of games. Like I'd
I think
welcome
so
more
too.
double A's for sure.
Me too, man. Some of
Uh,
my favorite games in the past couple of years have been like double A
yeah, especially
experiences.
if they're a little bit shorter, like this one,
Yeah, that's
but
right.
well done. Oh, it's
Yeah,
great.
for
There's
sure, for sure.
definitely
Like
room for that.
Bloodstained last year, right?
Yeah, that was one of my
Bloodstained.
favorite games last year.
We had Greedfall. We had Remnant from the Ashes last year. All of these fucking sick double A games.
Yeah,
In my opinion, like those are all. I had a wicked time with all of those games, dude.
yeah, Bloodstain especially for me. I
Yeah,
hammered that one. Oh, so
that was a
good.
sick one too. We actually finished it, right?
Yeah, I still feel like jumping in sometimes. There's a DLC now where you play as Zangetsu.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
If they added like some extra levels or some shit, I might jump back in for a second
Yeah, I
playthrough.
think I don't know if I think you just replay the main game, so I don't think they added anything extra, but I could be wrong.
Man, you know what game was also fucking sick? This is totally off topic from everything else, but that Castlevania Lords of Shadow. Did you ever try that before?
I don't think so, but I've
Very
heard they're
cool.
fantastic.
Yeah, they're very good. But made by Mercury Steam. They're Stream, excuse me. They're Spanish actually, Spanish dev.
Nice,
Fucking sick. They made Metroid Other M. There's some
nice.
involvement with something we were just talking about that's escaping me right now, which is why I brought it up in the first place.
Huh.
But yeah, I think some of their personnel may have been involved in Bloodstain. I'm not totally sure on that, but
It's possible. That would be cool.
mid Metroid Other M most recently, which was not Other M, fucking
Oh,
Metroid Samus Returns, the
Returns. Yeah,
3DS. Yeah,
I briefly played that game a
yeah,
little bit.
yeah. Fucking tough, man. I heard it was excellent, but it's very hard.
Yeah, it was pretty difficult.
Yeah, ridiculous, eh?
Yeah.
Good stuff though.
So where were we?
We were talking a little bit about open worlds. We got into
Right
Maneater
on.
and how that fucking kind of just confirms that we're in the midst of a double A resurgence at this point in time.
Right on. How long did
It
it
does
take you
seem
to
to be the
finish
case.
it?
17 hours about to 100% it and got the platinum and everything.
Oh fuck, not bad.
Yeah. After you like kind of pick up and start leveling above all the enemies, gets fairly easy, but there's like some bosses and shit who are way above the level cap, so there's still an element of difficulty at the climax and at chief
Nice.
points in the story. Yeah. Enough for me, anyways. I don't give a fuck. I don't want to be souls in it, you know?
Yeah,
Learning fucking patterns for 2 weeks to finish the last boss or
that
something
that
like
might
that.
be a little too much for that game.
Yeah, no. I'm good with playing like one or two of those a year.
Yeah. Nice.
Yeah, man. Yeah, so that's pretty sick. Now maybe you know, after that, I'm gonna try and complete Xenoblade Chronicles 2 so as to jump into the remake on Switch. Because
Nice.
in fact there's like bonuses that you get for playing 2 and starting 1. I think you get some money or something like
Oh,
that
really?
in the game. Yeah.
Oh shit.
Yeah. Figure
Oh,
right at the end anyways. And the stories are supposed to be like parallel to each other in some fucked up way. Like,
oh, really?
yeah.
I
Yeah.
wouldn't mind jumping into one. I'm curious because I've never played one,
Yeah.
but I didn't
One
really
is
like. I was gonna say I didn't really get too into two, so I don't know. I'm
mhm.
still undecided about trying one, but
The tone is like fucking as JRPG as you could possibly get, but
two
the
was
world
pretty
building is
much.
excellent.
Yeah.
I think that's one thing that one does just as well, if not better than two, is that it has this excellent, like fucking very unique universe. You know, that you definitely just want to learn more about. And the
Is
characters, like, whilst they're way like they over articulate everything, and they're fucking too emotional, and it's kind of like
yeah.
fan servicey, like it's genuine and it has a nice tone, like quite like Dragon Quest 11. You know,
Yeah.
you never
Yeah.
find yourself saying like, "Fuck, this is stupid," right?
Yeah, I noticed that a little bit out of two. So I guess one is pretty much the same in that
Yeah,
regard.
yeah, it is. Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, but while we're on the topic of Xenoblade, which by the way, like, is widely considered one of the best RPGs of all time. Like, I don't think that's even a unpopular opinion. You know, a lot of
Yeah.
people say like, yeah, it's a sleeper hit of the seventh, sixth gen.
Sixth
No,
gen, I
what the
think
fuck?
Wii, the
Yeah,
original Wii it came out on.
yeah, the sixth gen, I guess. Sleeper hit of the sixth gen, and one of the best RPGs of the past couple of decades for sure. And now that it's launched again on the Switch, And I know it was widely unavailable for people to play, even when it came out on the Wii. It was difficult to get your hands on.
Yeah,
It's not
they
like they
had
had like,
the 3DS re-release.
yeah,
I think
they.
it
That's
was
right.
a new 3DS XL like exclusive
Yeah,
or whatever. And I
yeah,
tried
that's
to
right.
find copies, but by the time I was looking for them, they were already unavailable. They were ridiculously expensive. Like,
Yeah, even on Wii, it was very difficult to get your hands on
yeah.
immediately after it came out. Yeah,
So this is nice to have in that sense, right?
yeah, just for sure,
An updated
definitely.
copy. I might pick it up.
No. Yeah, it's definitely cool. And just
Yeah.
brings wanted to touch on a couple of like points that I've been seeing on Reddit and on M4G about
Oh yeah.
people's issue with like this kind of product, specifically concerning how, to them it's being sold old content back, which is somehow like an unjustifiable practice. Like, what do you think about this idea?
I think it's ridiculous to complain about it because at the end of the day, nobody's telling you to buy it. But at the same time, if you want it, and like we just touched on, some of these copies are hard to get in the wild. You have a modern version that's being sold, updated and everything, ready to go, right? As opposed to trying to track down a inferior version for more money. Like, even if the update is, maybe not excellent or not perfect or whatever you want to say about it,
Yeah,
it's still an upgrade. Like, it's in this sense, it's better than the Wii version, right? Or the
yeah, absolutely.
3DS version. I mean,
At the
this
end of
is
the day,
like barring any, fucking stupid decisions if they changed anything like story this or whatever that, but I don't think they've done anything dumb like that, right?
yeah, I don't think anything like that either. Like,
The main game is more or less the same thing, right? It's not like they.
there's some extra content that was added on,
Yeah,
I believe, at the
even
end.
better.
Yeah, but more or less it's the same. But I think like at the bottom of this is the idea that somehow there's something wrong with making something that you made before available for sale at a distant point from the release date. Like, I don't
Yeah, yeah,
see
like
what
it's
the
like it's washed up. It's no good anymore, right? Like
is
it
that
doesn't
is
make.
that what's being argued here? It doesn't
I
really make any
I
sense to me.
don't know. Like, that's the only thing I can think of, but like that's to me just it's stupid, right? Like, that's the dumbest thing I can think of,
If that
probably. But
is the contention, then to my mind, that's not only fucking totally ridiculous because
I don't know.
you're well within your rights to fucking expect money for your intellectual property, even if it's come out, right? Like,
Yeah,
people aren't gonna say, "Well, it's been fucking 10 years since I wrote my book. I guess I could give it to everybody for free,"
yeah, right.
or my movie or something like that. I mean,
Yeah,
even if they were, that wouldn't make it right. But on top of that, though, I guess the value of the thing, if we can assign a monetary value to it at all, is not contingent on its proximity to its release date, right? Like,
yeah. It doesn't make
I
any
guess I would
sense.
argue. This is really like we've talked about this before, perhaps the only honest form of recurrent monetization, right? Like making a viable, like whole, like complete, like quality product
Yeah,
available to people who want to play it on a new generation, right? Like its value consists precisely in the fact that I don't have my shit plugged into my TV anymore from the Wii generation. You know what I mean?
yeah,
Like,
exactly, right. That's why backwards compatibility is
yeah.
so, like, people
And again, like
want it,
we've talked
but
about this before too, but like even if it wasn't backwards compatibility, I'll
hmm
buy every fucking game that I like every gen for all I give a shit. Like what the hell? How is that dishonest, right? Like
yeah, I
if you
mean,
want to be able to play it on your current hardware, then buy a copy or don't. Like I don't really see
and
how that's dishonest. It's not like
it's
you're taking a good game and fucking it up for the sake of making extra money, right? You're expecting
exactly.
money for a viable product. As simple as that.
It's good for the business side of things, like the industry too. Like, look at Blue Point Studios. Like, they've pretty much only done like porting and remasters and stuff like that. They've made
Yeah, we
like a
talked about this
career
before
out
too,
of
right?
it. Yeah, they're
How
like,
like younger studios get experience on these kinds of projects as well.
yeah, like it's great. It's
Yeah.
it's good all
Like
around. And the best part about it is if a remaster comes out and you don't want to buy it, you don't have to.
guess
At
you
the
don't.
end of the day, like, what the fuck are you complaining about?
I guess you don't, just like anything else. I guess though, like behind it all, their contention would be that there's something dishonest about selling an older intellectual property back to
Maybe,
people who may have already purchased it before. But
but like,
um,
I've also heard the argument that people say, oh, like, it's tying up studios resources where they could be making a new game or new IP, or it's costing them money. Like, I don't know why you would concern yourself with such things. Like, I don't work for the company. I don't care what they decide to do.
Yeah, I
Like,
mean,
it's doesn't,
nor I.
what the
I don't
fuck?
really care either. That may be the case, but at the end of the day, that doesn't have anything to do with this thing being not quality, right?
Yeah.
That's a relative concern to something other than the thing itself, right? Does that
Yeah.
lead us to say that it's bad because it compromised some other thing? No, you know? Even if it is true, like that sucks, but it doesn't mean that the remake is itself a piece of shit, right? Like,
Yeah, I think the
those,
whole notion of this is just, it's kind of ridiculous. It's one of those things that people just like to complain about, I guess.
yeah, I
You know,
guess so. Like,
there's a lot of that.
I think though, like, you know, part and parcel of our like cultural fucking outlook on many things, right? Like, man, I've heard people say strange things to me in the past, you know, like,
Mhm.
how could I how could I be with somebody forever and not get bored? How could I play the same thing or read a book for 100 hours, et cetera, et cetera? Like the
Yeah.
idea being that like somehow like novelty is the fucking spice of life, you know, and it's the site where all good things happen. Like, man, fucking got news for you. You know, the best parts of things are permanent. They lurk behind everything. They're everywhere, right? Like they're
Yeah.
ubiquitous. So I don't fucking have no problem with something especially as good as Xenosaga or Xenoblade Chronicles 1 like being republished on every fucking console that's ever made because it's worth playing, right? Like if you play games, if you like RPGs, especially good ones and not fucking American style fucking anyways, if you like good games, yeah, you should definitely play Xenoblade Chronicles 1.
Yeah.
Everybody should, you
I
know?
think I might give it a shot.
I'd say that as much as anybody should play Red Dead or Final Fantasy X or Souls, like you should definitely play fucking Xenoblade, you know?
Man, I almost forgot. I'm actually kind of excited for Pokemon DLC, which I think is coming out at the end of June. So we're like
Yeah,
a
I heard
month
about
out
that
from
too,
that.
actually. That's very cool. What is that going to consist of? Do you know?
There's some like dojo thing. I watched the video a while ago, so I don't remember too much. But there's some like dojo challenge thing. There's new. There's like a new, some kind of story content. It's probably not very long, but there's something. And then they're unlocking, more Pokemon to catch. So new, like there's a new wild area too. I don't know the specifics, but there looks to be hopefully a nice amount, this little sizable chunk of play there, I
Very
guess.
cool.
Yeah.
New Pokemon too?
Yeah, they're adding new ones that were previously not catchable. And I think even if you don't buy the DLC, they unlock for you as well, if I'm
Oh,
not
that's cool.
mistaken.
That's nice.
For transfer though. But you can only catch them
Ah,
in the new areas, I think.
I see.
I don't know, whatever. I just want to play the new just want to play the new like story stuff that they added or whatever challenge things it is because I feel like the game was just a tad short, only in the sense that I still wanted to play it afterwards, but I wasn't compelled to do much other than just run around and catch Pokemon. But that gets kind of boring, right? When there's nothing
How
to
I
like
feel about this
work
fucking shark game.
towards. Yeah, like
Yeah.
so
I want
I'm
more
kind of
interactive, yeah.
craving the yeah exactly.
Oh, you know what fucking would be sick to jump back into, buddy?
Mm.
Control. The DLC came out.
Oh, I
Apparently it's pretty
actually
cool.
booted it up the other day, but I didn't. I mean,
Yeah.
I haven't played the DLC, but yeah, that
That should be one to take a look at, eh?
yeah, that maybe is one to
The
look into.
Foundation,
Yeah.
which is apparently like the bottom of the universe in that fucking concept, so should be cool.
Oh boy, I bet it's all kinds of fucked up knowing that game.
Yeah, we find out more about the board,
Yeah,
all of the cool features of the universe, so
I'd be down to give that a run.
yeah, man. But I guess with that out of the way, you know, we can talk a little bit about the Ghosts of Tsushima showcase from the 13th of May that we haven't had the chance to speak about yet.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Did you happen to see the whole thing?
I watched most of it. I don't think I saw the entire thing, but I saw a little bit of how the open world works and how it's apparently what they're designing it not to be like a map with just a bunch of points that you have to hit. Like they have that thing where the
Nice.
wind sort of tells you where to go, which looks kind of cool. I guess it's sort of supposed to feel more like natural and less like like an open world game. I don't know if it'll actually make a difference, but
Mm-hmm. What feature is it that you're describing with the
so
wind?
it showed something like where I don't know if you like hit a button or whatever, and then there's like you see like just like a trail of wind in pointing in like a direction, and that's, I don't know if that's supposed to be like your objective or somewhere to go, but because I don't know how the exploration is, if it's like a Dark Souls or like apparently it doesn't. They were stressing on like the point that the map isn't like just a map with plotted points all over it, and it's supposed to feel like more like natural, like exploring, and like more like something like
I
that.
see.
They were emphasizing that for some reason, but um, I don't know. I don't know how it's gonna be in terms of that. I don't think I'm sold as like a day one buy right now or anything, but I definitely want to check it out and look more into it. Closer
I
it
think I'm
gets.
probably gonna play it day one. Like I'm
Yeah,
pretty stoked on open world things lately, and on
that's true.
Japanese settings, and on like
Yeah, the setting
I
looks great.
yeah, the setting looks great. I
Mm-hmm.
mean, I'm not like totally off the wall for it either. I definitely understand your lack of enthusiasm, but I guess I like the concept. I do like that
Yeah.
Arkham style fighting, even though it's not my favorite kind of action combat. But I do have a couple of notes here from the presentation I took. If you want to talk just
Yeah.
briefly about a couple of features, like in line with what you were just saying, like
Yeah.
did you
Go
notice
ahead.
those the birds and the foxes indicating the random map events? Like I wrote down here when I was watching, like, man, this is essentially Red Dead 2 inspired open world like exploration and progression,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Like how Red Dead had those like question marks that appeared on the map, and you kind of fucking found like random characters that
Yeah. Sort of just
either,
natural events just occurring.
yeah,
Mm-hmm.
and you found money or you got a chance to earn some fucking morality one way or the other, right?
Yeah.
And there's resource gathering and fucking stuff like that, like dynamic occurrences on the map, usually indicated, or at least from what we saw so far, by these birds and foxes and shit like that.
Right. Yeah.
And I
Yeah.
think I
That is
remember
pretty
seeing
cool.
something in the when he hit the thing and the screen turned black and white. There was like some red shit in the air. Was that
Yeah.
what you're talking
That
about with
was
the?
what I was trying to referring to.
Oh, cool. Yeah.
It's supposed to be like, I think, the wind or something, basically a directional thing telling you either where to go or something close by. I don't know for sure, but it looked pretty interesting.
Yeah, it does look pretty good. Um, I do like that feature, so I thought that at least it's the kind of thing like just like the game. I was just playing Maneater. Like I could see myself, wandering around the map and fucking enjoying
Yeah.
stumbling on bullshit like that. Like, and aside from that exploration and stuff like that, they said like the three pillars of the game during the presentation were exploration, combat, and stealth, right? So the
Right.
exploration, that's easy to describe, but when it came to the combat, like I remember right before the presentation we were discussing like what we thought the combat would look like, and I feel like this like Arkham style, like I don't really know what to call it, like Souls like combat, like what the hell is it, more arcadey
Yeah.
style combat, right? Like
Yeah.
with yeah, like it's a really like easy choice for them to implement something like that in a game like this, don't you think? Like,
Yeah, I guess. I don't know how else they would do it because you wouldn't want it to be too hard, especially if it's an open world game. There's probably a lot of combat. If you made it like a
mhm.
Dark Souls, it would just be too much.
Yeah, like the Assassin's Creed series went with that more like Soulsy style combat, right?
In which ones? Like the
In
new ones?
yeah, in
Oh, okay.
Odyssey and Origins, right? That like arcadey style, but like hampered
Yeah, yeah,
by the stat based progression system, in my opinion. But
yeah. If
nonetheless, they did go with that, which is a little bit different than this, right?
hmm yeah,
Like,
this doesn't have like stats based any RPG stuff at all, does it?
I'm
I
not
don't
really
even
sure,
know.
but it looks like it's not based at all on like hitboxes and attack frames and shit like that, like those kind of games are. You know what I
Right.
mean?
Okay.
It looks more like a prompt based game. Like you even get the indicators when the guy's swinging at you, so you can press the counter button,
Like
like
an
in Batman.
Arkham. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, yeah. So that's okay, man. I'm pretty cool with that. It makes the experience of playing a game like this more casual, and you can like just progress through the map at your leisure instead of feeling like
Yeah.
that Souls like kind of like and the
Like
anxiety when you enter a
yeah,
new area or something like
fucking
that. Yeah,
hitting a wall.
yeah. Hitting a wall, serious walls. Walls are real, eh?
Yeah. Yeah.
There's two kind of games, the ones that you don't finish because like you just don't feel like playing them, and then the ones that you don't finish because you physically like
Literally a brick wall. You just
yeah,
don't know what to do.
you
I'm
can't do
like
it
that with Sekiro right now.
with Orin still.
Oh my god.
Fucking Orin,
I
eh?
don't even want to talk about it.
Yeah. Yeah, it did look like Arkham or Shadow War style combat here with ghosts, and there was the counters and the fucking parries followed by single input strikes. By the appearance of it, fast, fun, but fucking kind of arcadey at the end of the day, right? So
Hmm.
it's going to be interesting to see what they do to add depth to that by the end of a fucking what looks to be probably a 50-hour plus experience,
Oh
right?
God, probably.
Yeah. So
But
I did enjoy games like Middle Earth: Shadow of Mordor. Didn't play the second one, and that had combat like this, but it was like probably a 40-hour long game by the end
oh
of it.
boy.
The combat did get a little stale, and they fucking by the end all they did is throw like a bajillion guys at you at once. So it
Oh
wasn't the
God.
most. Yeah, 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 yeah. So
Nice. I'm glad you wrote down this stuff because I'm trying to rely on my memory and that's failing me big time right now.
no,
But
that's all good.
yeah.
No problem at all. After that, they did show though, like they showed a section where the guy playing approached this fucking bandit camp.
Oh, the stealth stuff.
Like yeah, they showed him approach it in like samurai posture, like just fuck everybody up in face to face combat. But then they showed him approach like using the ghost abilities and stuff like that, like to
Hmm.
stealth kill everything.
That's sick.
And it did look pretty cool. Yeah, it looked
Yeah.
like fun. But again, it looked like, man, if you didn't tell me what the hell I was watching, I would think that it was Assassin's Creed, like
Yeah,
the
that's
most
true.
recent Assassin's Creed games, right? Or Shadow of Mordor or Shadow of War, which I don't mind that. Like I do like those systems, and I think that there's something to be said for like what's the equivalent? What is it? The best way to describe it is like conventions, like a conventional style or like mode of making these kinds of games. Like
Yeah, yeah. Like a
a
template, right?
vocabulary. Yeah, an alphabet, right? Like
Yeah, so
there's a
yeah.
reason that these conventions become popular and many people use them to express their ideas. I'm not at all opposed to the conventions being like another one, right?
Right, right.
But at the same time, like, you know, then it has to have some kind of hook, right? It has to have something that, it has to take those parts and instrumentalize them to its own unique identity. Otherwise,
Yeah, whether it be like the
yeah,
story or
yeah, that's
something
right. Yeah,
else.
yeah, that's right.
If we could play the whole game stealthy like that, I wouldn't mind trying that. That would be cool. That's like
Yeah,
some
fuck.
Dishonored shit, right?
It would be pretty cool. Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
Yeah.
maybe that's what they're going for, with having the samurai and the other variant of
Yeah.
combat. So that should be pretty neat. And they also showed off a little bit of these like progression elements with the armor and charms, and
Oh
apparently the
yeah.
armor or the charms they complement certain playstyles. So you're gonna have builds, you're gonna have gear that you put on that fucking turn you from samurai to ghost. One of the guys said Jin transforms this from samurai to ghost based on the armor that he equips. So probably a lot of the
Ah,
shit that yeah, instead of there being like a traditional like level based character progression, maybe it's like gear based. You unlock gear and pop it on to get the abilities and shit, right?
that's cool. I wouldn't mind that.
At the end of the day, like I quite enjoyed the presentation. It looked like it's going to be a pretty fun game, even though it's kind of underwhelming in terms of almost everything except for I guess like the setting and the music and the aesthetic elements, right?
Yeah.
It appears to draw most of its components though from and even the core loop, the elements of the core loop from all these genre peers. I read one headline on N4G where a guy said it was like a celebration of the eighth gen, which is a charitable way to put it, I think, right?
Yeah.
And a more grounded take on Sengoku Japan than Sekiro's like fantastical fucking
Oh yeah.
Ashina,
Definitely, yeah.
with a greater focus on exploration and customization and accessible like arcadey like Arkham style combat, right?
Yeah, it sounds all right. I'm okay
Yeah,
with all of that.
yeah. That as a pitch, that sounds like something I would check out. It's not going to be my favorite fucking game ever. It's not like a Kojima or like a Miyazaki game to me, but
Yeah.
it'll probably be quality, right?
Sounds like it.
Yeah, it could be like something like Days Gone, right?
Mhm.
If it's well done.
Hopefully.
Yeah, yeah. I really like Days Gone. So
Yeah. You know what? Sometimes randomly I think about like jumping back into that and finishing that one. I'm not
oh
too
man,
very far in it, but I could probably
yeah.
wrap it up if I really get involved in it.
I think you could.
Yeah.
I love that game. I thought it was fucking amazing, man.
Criminally underrated.
Yeah, criminally underrated. So criminally underrated and so fun. So fucking fun.
Yeah.
I feel like when my mind though gets into a game like that, like I can just almost go on autopilot. There's like this poetic reason that takes over, where you kind
Yeah.
of like just automatically know what to do. You just pop in and you methodically like go through the map. Like,
That's me right now with Red
yeah,
Dead.
yeah. It's a
Hop
really
on
good
the
feeling.
horse and go.
Really good feeling, man.
Yeah.
I loved like fucking hunting the hordes in that game. I tried to do them all before the if you try to do them before the end game, it doesn't tell you where they are. So it was so fucking cool, like stumbling on them like unawares and like
Yeah.
very hard. Very good game. So fucking fun.
Crazy shit.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't think they're going to be making any extra content for that one, though, It looks like.
No, definitely not. But I think there's still the possibility of a sequel.
Yeah, I think so.
Like
At
sequel
least
on the
within the universe. And, like, it sold
yeah,
well, right? So,
yeah,
mhm. Yeah, that would be great.
definitely.
I think, like, public sentiment has turned around a little bit, too, since launch.
Yeah, I feel like after the the wave that came when it came
Yeah.
out with shitty dumb reviews, people actually playing the game and
Yeah.
word of mouth kind of takes over time, right? Once it's not like
Yeah.
popular to talk about and new things come out,
Yeah, you're right. Then
comes
word of mouth takes over. Yeah.
yeah. So
Everybody forgets what the critics said, and it just,
yeah,
speaks for itself, right?
those fucking dummies.
They've been updating it too, for the past fucking year and a half with, for the past year, excuse me, with like new modes and just fucking silly kind of content like that. Like
Cool.
there's like survival modes and whatever, which is fucking cool, I guess, right?
Sure,
Like
why not? Yeah.
they want to add replayability for people who finished the game, so yeah. That's another game I got super close to doing the platinum for. All I have left to do is like it says 67%, but like the rest of the trophies are bullshit, like turning for fucking 5 minutes at a time or something like that, right?
Oh god.
Yeah, so I could pop back in there like Shuhei Yoshida and fucking
Just
get the
grind out the
platinum.
rest, yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Can you imagine
Nice.
that guy got the platinum for Days Gone? What the fuck?
That's sick.
Don't you have a job, bro?
Fuck. He's got a pretty high
He's got a
end
pretty
job.
important job. Yeah. What the fuck's my problem?
Fuck
there?
yeah, I was gonna say that's fucking embarrassing for me.
Yeah.
Jeez. So, I know we
So there was
wanted to, or rather, I kept bringing up The Last of Us before, but
Oh yeah, we can talk a
honestly,
little bit about that, please.
I don't even think I want to.
What's like without getting into any of the disgusting details surrounding this whole thing, like the internet culture, the fucking product itself, it's all
Yep.
just very disappointing. But what's your take like now this like close to release? I know like we canceled all of our fucking copies, like we're not even gonna sell the game, man.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm just very like meh. Like I feel like whereas before I was gonna play it no matter what and give it a chance, I feel like now I just have no I don't want to say I'll never play it because I don't know for sure yet, but I definitely have no interest in like day one jumping in or anything like that.
Yeah.
Like I would for sure I have no problem with waiting to see the the reception from I guess both sides, critics
Yeah, I
and
guess so, yeah.
but like it almost feels like the fucking internet has made its decision. Like critics are gonna give it good reviews, and then
Yeah.
people
The
are
internet's
just gonna
shit on it.
bash it to
Yeah.
all hell. So it's almost like you have to play it yourself to really see it. But like at this point, I don't really care for it right now. There's enough probably to keep me busy. So yeah, it's serious deflation.
Yeah, I guess so.
Yeah.
I just feel like I don't want to play a story game with a bad story.
That's fair. Yeah.
Yeah. But on top of that, like even if it's not a bad story, it's no doubt a mediocre experience. Like I mean maybe it's not the most popular opinion either, but like The Last of Us, the first one, which I never thought was a bad game. I never thought was like it didn't stick out in my mind as some fucking masterpiece either personally, right? Like it doesn't,
Yeah.
it didn't
Yeah.
speak to me, right? Like I was hardly motivated to finish that one. There's no fucking way, buddy. I'm gonna take time out of my gaming schedule to play The Last of Us fucking 2 when I could finish instead like literally fucking 20 different games that I actually love,
Yeah, I hear you.
There's no way I'm gonna do that. Give Neil Druckmann my fucking money for whatever it's worth.
Pissed
Rather
me off.
smoke that money.
I fucking liked one. I mean, I, I I don't know if I'd call it a masterpiece. I probably have in the past, and it's hard to say.
There's a sense in which I'm sure you're right. I guess I'm just trying to say like I don't like those kinds of fucking stories, that the West tells with video games, like those kind of dramas, I guess you can call them, those kind of dramatic games.
Yeah.
I don't know, man. They don't move me. Like
Yeah. That's
the reason I don't watch
understandable.
Western television dramas. Like I'd much rather play a JRPG, even when it's like cheesy as fuck. It still feels more authentic, right? Less
Right.
contrived. Like
Yeah, you're not wrong
less like
about
they're
that.
trying to browbeat you with some kind of fucking point,
Yeah.
So yeah.
Well, I'm happy to to abandon The Last of Us 2. So
Yeah.
it's not
You know what would
like
be cool to talk about actually, though? Sorry to cut you off,
no, no,
but it's very much relevant to this, right? Like, you know, when you the mechanics of The Last of Us shared with games like The Evil Within also, like what would you call this shit? You know, this like third person like tank survival control scheme, right?
yeah, I guess it's I I don't know.
Like when
Yeah,
you put it next to Gears of War or something like that, it's obviously like there's no
yeah,
role.
Kate. Yeah,
It's not like as fluid, or not. Never mind Gears of War, like you know, even Souls or Remnant or any kind of action game proper, right?
yeah, they feel more snappy, right?
Yeah, this is more like you know, it's got a bodily
Grounded.
feeling to. Even Red Dead
Yeah,
is actually like that, to be honest, is it not?
yeah.
Like the
Red
the
Dead
the Rockstar games too have that
feels
feeling,
heavy.
really.
Yeah,
Yeah, yeah. Now,
hmm
did Last of Us come up with this? Like, what's the first game to have a
I don't.
fucking?
I don't know. I don't think so, but maybe.
I
Cause
remember
like,
playing The Evil Within when it first came out, and fucking, I really love that game, right? So I went out of my
mhm,
way to start playing a bunch of other games that were like that, right? And The
right.
Last of Us was one of them. That's how I started to play it, right? I got like to the point where they go to that, I got to the snowy part, and then I stopped playing,
Oh, that's pretty
essentially.
good.
But I really liked that kind of like, you know, I
Weighty,
like the
like.
universe of The Last of Us. But I
hmm
like the gameplay of The Evil Within and The Last of Us a lot. You know, that like weird like
Right.
survival style third person shooting. So like
Yeah, yeah.
yeah, I wanted to ask like then if you know if you know what's the origin of
I,
this.
I don't know. I can't really put my finger on it because I don't think Uncharted felt the same. Uncharted would have been the shooting and stuff was probably a little bit more arcadey,
Yeah, it
whereas
was
the
more fluid for sure,
yeah,
right?
whereas The Last of Us made things like you
Uncharted had
said.
a jump button.
Yeah, that's
This
true.
is like maybe like the fucking the like Resident Evil 4 style controls maybe, eh?
A
Or
little bit.
derived
Yeah,
from
you
it.
know what?
Yeah.
That's true. I guess we can't say that it was one of the first games because tank controls go back a long way, but
Yeah.
since the first couple Resident Evils and I guess 3 and whatever, it wasn't
Yeah.
until 4 where it became like a true sort of behind the camera, behind the character, third person with, that same weighty sense and
Sure.
tankiness. So it's
Yeah.
been there, but I guess they've sort of taken it a notch higher maybe and just made a better like gameplay, or game
Yeah, I
that
guess they
plays
really
better. Yeah.
westernized that fucking that it's kind of like a Western Resident Evil if you think about it, right?
Yeah.
It's interesting. The Last of Us, like, never mind my personal preferences for the universe or the story or whatever, like, it is an interesting game in the history of the seventh and eighth gen, right?
Oh,
Like,
definitely.
it is a pretty landmark, you know, event in the industry's history for the fact that it involved, like, such personalities as Amy Hennig and studios like Naughty Dog and publishers like Sony and, like, all of this critical acclaim and all of this crazy shit. And
Yeah.
now what happened with the sequel, right? Like, does raise a lot of issues about the relationship of artists to their property, the
Yeah.
relationship of games to themselves. Like it's pretty cool shit, man.
Yeah, it's going to be weird I think when it releases. It's going to be uh, I don't even know how to describe it, but it'll
It is
be
going to be weird.
interesting to say the least.
It is. It is. I think I don't know, man. Like you said, maybe like I do think that the universe maybe is done a disservice by what will inevitably be a
It's hard to disagree with that right now
less than
because
pleasing story.
from what we've seen, yeah, it looks to be
Yeah.
a pretty big disappointment for what that game is hoping to achieve, right? Like,
Honestly, whatever happens in this story, quite like with God of War 2018, like it's gonna disappoint me based on its mode of storytelling more than anything else.
yeah, that's fair, I guess.
Yeah. Yeah.
So not so much hype for that game, but
Yeah, not so hyped. Not so hyped.
that's all
But I
right.
mean, I'm not like existentially offended like some people maybe either. You know what I mean?
Yeah, there's a whole whack of fucking morons out there.
While it may be stupid and some of the like political posturing involved, like it's no more
Mm-hmm.
so than any other element of day to day life in the West. You know what I mean?
Pretty
Like,
much, yeah. It's just another thing to
yeah, it's
doesn't interest you, just don't play it, right?
yeah, man. Yeah, yeah.
I'm not gonna go on a crusade on Reddit and fucking
No.
trash it.
And you know what's equally hilarious, actually, buddy? Like, I,
Mm.
I, I fucking love like seeing It's like when Pokemon came out and people were pissed because
Oh
they were like,
boy.
"Wow, man, it's my childhood thing," and like, my favorite Mon is not in this iteration, right?
Yep.
For people here saying we fucking love Joel and Ellie, and now they're dead. It's like, oh my god, man, are you
What have
are
you
you okay?
done to my characters?
What's wrong with you? I don't know, man. It's confusing. Like,
Yeah.
it reminds me of that Stephen King movie, Misery.
Oh yeah.
Ever see that
I
shit
know
where
which
she
one
locks
that
the
is.
writer,
Yeah, yeah.
the guy who writes the book, she locks him in her house and chains him to the bed. She's like, "You fucking write it the way I want."
Oh my god, that was hilarious, that
Yeah,
movie.
yeah, yeah, yeah. That's the internet.
Pretty much, eh?
Re video game devs. Eh?
Fuck. What a shit show.
It is a shit show. Yeah, yeah. I finished Sekiro too. I don't know if I
I don't think we
mentioned that
touched on that
last
either.
week.
No, definitely not.
Yeah, I finished Sekiro. I was trying last time we podcasted, I believe, and fuck, buddy, it was tough. I must say, it
Oh, I bet.
was tough, but it was a great feeling when I finally did.
Fuck, it must be so relieving. You've been talking about that for a while.
Yeah, it really was bothering me. I gotta say, I felt like this.
Sitting in the back of your head, just nagging you. Like,
Yeah,
fuck
man. Every
it.
time I played another game, it was like, fuck,
How
I
could
feel
you
inadequate. Like this is fucking bothering me.
That's fucking hilarious.
When I tried to play it, I was like, yeah, it won't be so bad. It was fucking bad.
Oh
Holy shit.
yeah, dude. I
Weeks.
watched the video you posted of you doing
Yeah.
that fight. Forget it. I don't know, man.
So long. It took so
Oh
long. I did it for 2 weeks. Like I tried for about an hour a day for like 2 weeks.
Jesus.
And I would do like 5 or 6 attempts, and then I fucking just fuck this. But
Yeah.
like once you get into it, you like, there's a moment when you're like, yeah, I think it's in the bag. It feels really good. Yeah.
Oh, I bet.
Incidentally, in that fight with Ishin, the sword saint there, the last fight is one of the easiest ones. There's a mechanic that they put in there probably for this purpose, where you throw his lightning back at him, and it's kind of hard to get it right. But if you do, the fight is fucking
Massive
simple, right?
damage. Yeah.
Yeah, he just smacks him. It's fucking easy. It's just getting to that phase.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh
It's like
God.
the fifth phase of the fight. It's fucked, man. Yeah,
Jesus.
Kira's fucked. And then I went back and played a bit of Dark Souls 3. I got to I finished the first DLC, which is pretty good.
Nice.
And I got to the start of the second DLC, the Ring City there, and like the first fucking level is just horse shit, just horse
Oh
shit, just
God.
full of like fucking. You just walk into a room and 15 different things fly at you from every direction. And you're like,
Oh God.
just fucking out on this,
Yeah.
out on this. Go back to it one day.
One day when you feel like torturing yourself.
Yeah, there's still like a pretty wide library of Souls games demanding, probably everybody's attention. Like that, even from last year, games like
Mhm.
fucking like Code Vein, still worth checking out.
Yeah,
Games like
Code Vein. I still want to try one day.
yeah, man, that'd be worth playing. We should play it together. Actually,
Fuck.
it's a multiplayer designed Souls game. I think
Yeah, yeah.
that should be cool. And there's also the Surge too, which is fucking sick, man.
Yeah, I should try that one as well.
Very good game. I think that might also qualify as a AA sort of thing.
I think so.
Yeah.
What about Code Vein? Would that be considered double A?
Bandai Namco made it. I don't really
So
know how
maybe
much money was
not.
spent on that
Yeah.
one. Yeah, that was pretty up there. I think it
Yeah.
was the fucking some $500 million game, but it was
Quite
definitely had a decent
substantial,
budget.
yeah.
Probably had a decent budget, and it's cool. It was well received too. Like from everything I've played, like briefly and watched and read about
Mhm.
it, it's a successful fucking game, and it definitely takes this. It adds like a JRPG kind of face to the Souls
Yeah, right?
to the Souls. This fucking.
I'm okay with that. That's cool.
I'm okay with that too. I'm
Fuck
okay
yeah.
with that too. Yeah, love JRPG formula, man.
Definitely.
And before we close her up here,
Yep.
what do you know about this PS5 reveal on the
PS
4th of July?
I actually
Of
don't
June,
know
excuse me.
much. The only thing I've heard outside of that was that there was a leak that came out of 38 confirmed games, but I don't even know what they all are, and some of them
Mhm.
are pretty obvious. So I'm
Yep.
kind of just waiting to see what happens. But it should be interesting to finally get hopefully a few more details on that and maybe see the box. I know you don't really care
Yeah.
for that, but I'm curious to see what it's gonna look like. And
Yeah, fuck it. Would be interesting.
Yeah.
I really hope we see like another FromSoft game fucking attached to the
That
system.
would be cool. But aren't they working on the Elden Ring? Like, do they have
They are.
another team that could be doing
Yeah,
something?
I think they do.
Yeah.
They have a B team that did Dark Souls 2.
Okay, yeah, yeah.
And I'm pretty sure they were doing DS3 and Sekiro at the same time.
You know what? Fuck, we've probably said this before, but Demon Soul remaster
Yeah, man.
would be hype as fuck.
That'd be sick.
Yeah.
I bet you they'd give it to one of those
Blue Point.
the guys who did to Blue Point though.
This
Yeah.
might even be rumored. I'm pretty sure I've read this before, but it's also like, while it could be true, it's too much of an easy guess. Like it could also just not be true. Like
Demon Souls?
yeah, Demon Souls being remastered by Blue Point.
Man, I'm pretty
I
sure
don't
it would do pretty well. Like people
Oh,
would
I think
buy
so.
that shit.
Yeah, hell
Yeah.
yeah.
I bet you they're gonna wait till they're not in the middle of some shit, you know?
Yeah, maybe. But yeah, I'm definitely curious to see what Sony's cooking up since they've been pretty quiet. I guess they also have they're in the position to be, you know, still releasing big titles on the PS4, and they probably don't want to detract too much from that, right? Like they're still gonna market the shit out of Ghosts of Tsushima and The Last of Us 2, so maybe they're not going too heavy on PS5 stuff because that'll come, you know, after these games, and they've always been good at handling like multiple systems, right? As opposed to doing like sort of the Microsoft way where you just kind of just shut down the 360 and move over to the one.
I feel like at the end of the day, like, man, the brand, even more so than Nintendo's brand, is about a certain approach to publishing video games. This is the reason they earn my business and probably most people's, right? So
yeah, I mean,
there's as long as that expectation is not flouted, you know, probably what we're gonna see is at least one or two quality fucking games that they paid for, right?
Yeah, yeah,
And that's what you'd really want, you know?
yeah.
That's what I'm hoping for. That Japanese ethos brought to video game publishing.
Yeah, it's never a bad thing. It's usually pretty good.
Yeah, that's the exact reason I'm not stoked on American-made consoles or developed games most of the time, right?
Most of the time, yeah, it's sad, but it's kind of the reality right now.
Did we? No, there's some American-made games though that I definitely
I feel
enjoy.
like as a blanket statement, like we're not being fair to say that.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah,
But there's too many good things coming out of Japan that it's hard to ignore, like the staggering amount, right?
Yeah, but by and large, the American ethos, like the mainstream one, is, I think we can all agree, not not the best in the world. When it
I
comes
would
to
say,
making games
yeah, it
right now,
wouldn't
right?
be like top class, world class if you had to like put into tiers, like the highest ranking, the highest tier of quality of games, pretty much probably come out of Japan, and then yeah,
Then Europe.
it goes down from there.
Even if Americans like own the companies like Bethesda, it turns out to be like the European studios that do the quality products for them too, right?
Yeah, it's interesting too. Yeah.
Oh, there was a sick, worth mentioning documentary by NoClip by Danny O'Dwyer there from used to work for GameSpot.
Oh yeah.
And he published a documentary on NoClip covering Arcane. You know, the guys who developed Dishonored.
Mm-hmm.
Fucking very cool, man.
That's another game I still want to try. Like I've played it briefly, but I want to like really get into it. Even though it's old,
Dishonored
I don't care. I
is
want to
sick.
fucking
Should play, man. It's fucking amazing.
I think I
play
have
it in the DLC as well.
Yeah.
Yeah. Very
nice.
cool. One of the best games of the last gen, in my opinion, easily.
Nice.
When that one came out, I was obsessed with it for a little while. Actually, it's fucking super cool.
Yeah, I heard it was really good.
The world building is sick, and like the way you approach the levels and that whole immersive sim kind of design.
Mm-hmm.
Very good stuff. Yeah.
Deserves another go.
Yeah, I think so. There's number 2, and then there's also an expansion.
Nice.
So a lot of Dishonored content.
Lots of stuff to play. Lots.
Yep. Yeah, we were just also talking about what's coming up in the next couple of months, and the answer to that is not very much. So
yeah,
looks like we're gonna
not a whole lot, I don't think, until like later on in the year when next gen launches, and then the holiday releases, like all the shit that comes out then, like Halos and fucking Call of Duties.
yeah.
But
I guess though it means we'll probably have a chance to pick away at the backlog, the old backlog.
Yeah, it'll be good time for that.
Yeah, buddy.
The delays have been good for that too. Like, well, I was gonna say the Last of Us delay, but I mean we're not even gonna play that. Did Ghosts of Tsushima get delayed at all, or no?
I haven't heard about a delay for that one.
Yeah.
I wouldn't be surprised either, though. I figure we'll be back at it a week from now if all goes well.
Yeah, we should definitely come back for the after the PS4 event, 5 event. Ah.
Yeah, man. Yeah, maybe on Monday evening we can have a chat.
Yeah.
Monday. Oh, Thursday. It'll be next Thursday.
Okay, so we'll do. If
Yes.
we could do the weekend again, that'd be great.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, fuck it. Might as well. Yeah. All right, man.
You want to close it out?
Yeah. Well, thank you, you sparse individuals who happened to tune in this evening. We hope you enjoyed, and we'll be back at you in a week or two with our thoughts on whatever the hell happens to be going on in our industry. And until then, please
PS5.
take care.
PS5.
Yeah, PS5 reveal. Hopefully, we see some good games. I'm hoping for a FromSoft exclusive.
Fuck yeah,
personally.
let's
What
go,
about you,
Demon
man?
Souls.
You had one wish. What would it be?
Oh, if I had one wish, I don't even have to tell you what that is. And
Metal Gear, what?
no, it's fucking SOCOM.
Oh,
Even though,
all right, fair enough. Fair enough.
if they
So-
pulled it off, that would be my that's my fucking fairy wish right there.
There you have it. Alex is hoping for a SOCOM re.
Even though I think
What?
it I guess it would have to be like a reboot, but there's rumors
Reboot?
that Gorilla is developing it. But it has to be like totally,
Quality.
I guess like a
Gorilla
reboot.
can
Yeah,
handle it, man.
they have to just make it their own, right?
Yeah.
They can't just emulate what Zipper did back in the day. I don't know. That's a tough one, but that would be if it was like a good game, then that would be my thing. That would be fucking
They can handle
cool.
it.
Yeah.
Well, I guess we'll see then, man.
That's a heavy rumor though. I don't believe it.
Yep. It's possible though.
Yeah, anything's possible.